But anyways, I'm making this video because some people on my Facebook page, they had been asking me about artwork that I have done. Well, a lot of the artwork that I've done was in the past. I've just recently tried to get into doing some artwork again, but as some people know, after you have a stroke, your affected side, which is this side, which is the side that I use to write and do all kinds of right-handed stuff, I couldn't use it very well anymore. But I will show you stuff that I have done first. This is a fruit bowl. And I also used to do pen and ink drawings. This is a building with another building in the background. I started doing some pencil drawings here. This, don't know if you can see it, of a building. I'm trying to make like an old building that's falling apart. This is going to ultimately be pen and ink. I abandoned it because I can't really do details like I used to. With pen and ink, you have to do very little tiny lines and dots and straight lines. I'm not very good at that anymore, but I'm practicing. Hopefully someday I will be able to do it again. For practicing, this is what I've done so far. It's a tree, a lot of stenciling. So what I had decided to do to try to get into full use of my right side again is to take up painting, because if you make mistakes, oil painting especially, it's forgivable. You can correct any of the mistakes you've done, and it's still got a lot of work to do, but this is one of them. It's a tree, sun, and this is going to have a whole lot of white little tiny petals. So that's what I wanted to show people, because I know some people were asking about it, and I hadn't done it for so long because it would shake or I would get weak. I get like thalamus pain disorder in my right side, where it actually makes it feel like someone's sitting on your hand and it falls asleep. And if you keep using it, you will actually have intense pain and burning, like you would get when something falls asleep, that intense sting and burn. Well, the painting seems to be, because of the brush strokes, it seems to be therapeutic. And I can, if I do catch myself, oops, I made a mistake there, I can go back and I can go over it, especially the black. If you don't notice that, how if you mess that up, so you have to decide which should I do first, what is going to be easier to cover up. And I'll let you see what that looks like when it's done. Another thing today, I was going to make a video where I was making mozzarella sauce for pasta. I didn't realize that when I went on YouTube Studios to make the video that you couldn't pause it. So it was awkward. It's like, I gotta pause this video because I gotta lay this phone down so that I can stir and then put in the other ingredients. So I was like, oh, forget it. But I made it. And it's kind of cold right now, but it's still very, very good, and it's very easy to make. I use just regular pasta. I use the vegetable kind, but you can use any kind you want. I just cut up chicken, put some lemon and pepper seasoning on it, and some broccoli. And the mozzarella sauce I'll make in another video if anybody's really interested. All you need is flour, shredded mozzarella, and you got to make sure not to buy the packaged kind. You got to actually go through the grater and shred it up, because then it melts better. And of course, milk and a little bit of butter. That's it. In a pan, stir it up, and It is so good. I started making my own sauce because the kind of sauce that I like, I couldn't find in the store anymore. And so I thought, well, how am I going to get this sauce? That's how I like to eat pasta, which is very rare. But because I'm trying to lose some weight here, which is another thing that happened after the stroke. You gain a lot of weight because of pain and weakness. You can gain like 50 pounds within a few months. It's just your whole body, your organs, everything just completely collapses. And I had on my right side of my face, it was really, you can still kind of tell how my eyes are not matching the size. And one side of my mouth will be more up higher. But finally, so here this eye leans over a little bit. I finally got over most of the stroke phase. I could get my voice back. And I wanted to do live videos for the last 2 years. And after watching a bunch of other people who are content creators make their videos and the hate that they get, I thought, I couldn't handle something like that. The kind of depression and the stuff that I have been through and trying to recover and bounce back. If something like that happened, it would set me back. I can imagine, isolating myself more, feeling self-conscious, because you are very self-conscious after you have an illness like that, the weight gain, the pain, when you try to move around, you look like you're either drunk or you'll huff and puff a lot. It's just from weakness and pain. And that was another thing I wanted to discuss on this live, in hopes that I could encourage other people in time to feel comfortable with themselves, especially in a time when everybody wants to have their say. Everybody is different. We all have our own little bubble that we exist in. And anything that's outside of that, we don't understand. And we think we understand, but we don't. And what ends up happening is people start cutting each other down, like you're stupid, or even making fun of people because of their ages. And like if you are a teenager or if you're in your 20s, you go around eating Tide Pods. And this is the Tide Pod generation. And I thought to myself, do you remember what they used to say about Generation X? I mean, we are the ones that were jumping into mosh pits and smelling gasoline and air fresheners. And we were also the generation that got pregnant a lot sooner than what you see today. Kids today don't have that interest in the way that, and back in my day, it was so common that it was like, who wasn't pregnant? And you also got people that are right or left. I used to be in the middle of the road. I'm more left-leaning now, and mostly because of social services that I need those things, and that tends to be something that not all, but most Democrats focus on when they are putting together, the taxes or some sort of framework. They think about that, and but I would vote for Republican. I would vote for a Democrat. It just depends on what they stand for. And people today, they want you to be either or. And I think that causes another friction between people. Instead of finding what people have in common, people look at things that they have that is not in common, and they want to attack that. I think that we are just not accustomed to having such easy access to people that are so vastly different from us, because social media, as we know it today, is so new, and we just don't know how to act or even react to those things that that come our way, that an opinion. It puts you on the spot almost. And it's sometimes when a person is put on the spot like that, and it makes them very upset. And that's natural. And the thing that I've also noticed is if you become upset and you react to it, that gives your enemies something. Oh, they're talking about me, so guess what? I'm going to talk about them now. And it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. And I was thinking about that today from just watching different streamers with having to deal with mean people. And then going back and looking at streams of the people that are really, really big, they don't even read the comment section. You really can't even have a live discussion with them. You'll see you're talking face to face and they'll see your comments and they respond to you. You don't even see that. They make their videos. They know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to say. They put it out. That's it. They may allow you to like maybe Twitter them, or they have another way for you to send a direct message to them, and they pick and choose what they're going to respond to. So that way they have some sort of control over how they're going to be viewed on camera when they respond to the questions, during answer question time. That's something to think about. Get your questions, get your responses from the people. Deal with that for a few days. Let yourself go through that and, your emotions, whatever it's going to be, and work through that before you go on camera again. Because I think that, in a way, might help people in preventing attacks. And it doesn't mean they're ever going. I know I'm going to have mine, and that's just the way it is. And I have been mean in the past, but when I first started, social media, responding to social media, I would just explode. And then after it was done, I would be so embarrassed. That was so stupid. You don't act like that in real life. You're putting yourself out there in a way and making yourself appear in a way that if they met you in real life, you would be nothing like that in real life. Just like in real life, I am not this pale. Every time I get on camera, I look so white. I tried to get my lighting, and it looks so pale. When I get off the camera and I look in the mirror, I am just like a cake. So it's like, so when I put on my makeup and I'm going on camera, it's like someone is going to be talking about how pale I am, or they're going to make fun of X, Y, and Z. And so you spend your whole time in the mirror looking at yourself, trying to find the way to look perfect so that when somebody comes online, they're not going to sit there and say, God, you're so ugly. Why don't you just kill yourself? I mean, do not come on camera. And that kind of attitude is like, you don't know what you're missing out with somebody. And you don't know what you're missing out in the interaction that you could have with people that have positive things to say. And I hope to come back online tomorrow and talk about something else. I hope to get outside. In Rockford, Illinois, where I live, it has rained all week long. I was going to go try to take a walk in a park, show people around at different parks, because that's part of what inspires me artistically and when I write my poetry. But I would be drenched. It would not stop raining. This is the kind of rain they need out west, where all those fires are happening. We don't need any more rain here. And I know that some places are even on the brink of flood stages. I haven't been really out because of this rain, because I don't want to be out in it. I don't like being wet. And I can only imagine when I do get a chance to go to the park, just how high our rivers are going to be, because the rain has just real heavy rain, just nonstop all week long. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.